Hello everyone. So in this session we are going to start with we are studying the structure of a detailed account of transcription unit. In the last session I just told you the procedure, how the transcription occurs, how the hnRNA synthesizes, after that how the splicing occurs, and how the mRNA forms. But today in this session I am going to draw the actual diagram related to a detailed account of transcription, related to transcription. Okay, so just copy these diagrams, and while drawing the diagram I am going to describe the whole process once again. So we are in the transcription. First we'll start with the types of RNA. In bacteria, it need all the three types of RNA to synthesize a protein, and those three types of RNAs are mRNA, that is messenger RNA, and rRNA, that is the ribosomal RNA, and then tRNA, so that is the transfer RNA. What is the role of mRNA? The messenger RNA, it further codes with the amino acids and synthesizes the protein material. Ribosomal RNA, it catalyzes the process, and tRNA, it brings the amino acid to the mRNA, so that mRNA, it can synthesizes the proteins. Okay, so here in prokaryotes we are talking, the example is bacteria. In prokaryotes, it need only one RNA polymerase, that is DNA dependent RNA polymerase, that transcribes the transcription process, or that transcribes, or that which this RNA polymerase helps to synthesize the mRNA in the process of transcription. Okay, you just remember this one, the DNA dependent RNA polymerase. This is the only one polymerase which is essential for the transcription process. But in eukaryotes, there are three polymerases, three RNA polymerases it requires, that is RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2, and RNA polymerase 3. In which cell it is? In the eukaryotes. In eukaryotes, there are three types of RNA polymerase which transcribes different RNAs. So just I am going to write what are those RNAs in front of the RNA polymerase enzyme. The RNA polymerase 1 enzyme transcribe the rRNA, and then RNA polymerase 2 enzyme transcribe the precursor RNA, that is hnRNA, and then mRNA, and then RNA polymerase 3, it transcribes tRNA, and then snRNA. So this is how the process goes on. So in eukaryotes there are 3 types of RNA polymerase, but in prokaryotes it need only one type of, or there is only one type of RNA polymerase which transcribe all the types of RNAs. That RNA polymerase is DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Okay, so I am going to draw the structure now. The first thing what they have given in the NCERT book, they have drawn a double helical model of DNA like this, and this strand is having 3' to 5' meioty, and this strand having the meioty 5' to 3'. And consider this is the promoter gene or promoter region. To this promoter gene or to this promoter region, I'll write little bit here because I need to show the RNA polymerase here. So here RNA polymerase, RNA, don't forget we are studying the transcription in bacteria. How the transcription occurs in bacteria, that we are learning here. Okay, so RNA polymerase, with this it need 2 more factors, right? So those 2 more factors, what are those? Name them. One is sigma factor, one more is rho factor. The sigma factor helps in the initiation of process. So inside to this I am going to draw the sigma factor. So this sigma factor, this is RNA polymerase and this is sigma factor, which is coming nearer to the promoter region or promoter gene. How it can identify this is the promoter region? Based on the presence of nitrogen bases like where if it find the TATAA box or TATAA nitrogen bases, there it will start the process. It find itself, yes, that is the promoter region. From there it can start the transcription process. So these are all the nitrogen bases present in the DNA. Okay, they have given like this. And the next step, so just you have to write this diagram, or you have to label this diagram as initiation. So the process is about to initiate because already it has the RNA polymerase and sigma factor. In the next step, what has happened here, what they have shown, like this they have shown, just write the meioty so that you won't be in a confusion state. So it means what? The process is moving on. Right from here, right from this region, the DNA helical model, it opens. when it start moving through this DNA helical strand, it means what? The transcription process is in the elongation form. This is the initiation, and if the unwinding of DNA occurs in between the helical model or in between the or in the structural gene, it means the process is in the elongation, is at the elongation process, or it is at the elongation stage. So we have to show few more labeling here in this diagram. The DNA nitrogen bases here don't show the hydrogen bonds in between these two strands because it has broken or it has opened, means there is no hydrogen bonds between the DNA strand. And here you have to show the RNA polymerase. RNA polymerase, and it is keeping or it is taking the RNA nucleotide sequence. This strand means what? This strand is nothing but RNA nucleotide strand. It means what? It is taking with this. However, the unwinding of DNA helical model occurs, it will keep on moving this with this RNA polymerase. The RNA polymerase keep on moving like this. With that, the RNA strand also move with this with the unwinding process, and this stage or this step is known as elongation. And here just mention the terminator region, terminator gene or terminator region. It means what? Here it should end its process, right? And in the next there I am going to draw the next stage. So next this is the third diagram, which is showing the termination of the process. So like this I'll show. Just draw the or write the meioty here. 3 prime, 5 prime, 3 prime. Okay. Now, what are the things you have to label here? First, you have to show the nitrogen bases, and here you have to show the breakage of hydrogen bonds. And here what you have to show? You have to show an mRNA strand, and with that, so this is the RNA strand. Don't label that as mRNA or hnRNA. In the next process I'll tell you why. And here you just show the RNA polymerase, and here inside to that you have to show the rho factor, because the rho factor helps in the elongation and termination of transcription. And here RNA polymerase and sigma factor helps to initiate the transcription process. The rho factor elongates and terminates the transcription process. So they have yes, here you have to write the initiation, elongation and termination. Okay. So in the next thing or in the next process, what will happen? As I told you, the splicing and capping and tailing mechanism occurs with the hnRNA and mRNA. I'll just tell you how. So now we are going to learn the process of transcription occurs in eukaryotes. Process of transcription in eukaryotes. So the eukaryotes, what is the difference between the transcription occurs in prokaryotes and eukaryotes? In prokaryotes, it directly synthesizes the mRNA, but in eukaryote, it do not. What will happen here? Consider it has synthesized one RNA. Okay. So as I told you in the last class, RNA, the synthesized RNA in eukaryotes, it is not ready to code with the amino acid. It is not ready to synthesize the protein. What will be there in the in this RNA? There will be the non-functional parts present in between or in this RNA that should come out from the RNA. How it will come? So we'll see that. So here, as like in prokaryotes, these two have the unwinding of DNA double helical model and the meiote. And just think, the newly synthesized RNA, it is ready now. Here we are having the RNA. Okay, so this RNA, I am going to label this as hnRNA because it got introns, the non-functional part, and this is the immature RNA. And here what you are going to show here, RNA polymerase 2 and then Rho factor and all. Okay, so the first thing is you just learn this strand. This is the hnRNA, heterogeneous nuclear RNA, heterogeneous nuclear ribonucleic acid. The three process occurs in the transcription process, that is capping, splicing and tailing. So these three processes, it has to occur in this RNA strand. How it occur? What is capping? Capping is nothing but an unusual methyl alright. So here to the hnRNA at the 5' end, just listen to me, at the or nearer to the 5' end. So this is how it's synthesized from 5' to 3'. So this is the meiote of RNA. So this is how it synthesizes nearer to the 5', an unusual methyl guanosine triphosphate. Methyl guanosine triphosphate it get added. When it get added at the 5' end of the RNA or hnRNA, the mechanism is known as capping. And what will happen in the next step? The next step, this is having 5' end and 3' end, and here it got exons and introns. It got both the parts. Exons are considered as functional part, introns are considered as non-functional part. The non-functional part should come out from the hnRNA. Then only the hnRNA is it will become mRNA that will be ready to code, or it will be ready to synthesize the protein. So here don't forget to write MGPPP. It means what? Methyl guanosine triphosphate. The addition of methyl guanosine triphosphate is known as capping. After the capping, the splicing, RNA splicing occurs. RNA splicing in sense the mRNA strand. Let me write one more time. So this is the continuation. What I am writing here is the continuation. MGPPP 5'. Splicing means cutting off the introns from the hnRNA. Only the non-functional part will come out from the hnRNA. Coming out means, as I told you in the last class, they form a loop. After the formation of loop, it will become spherical in structure, and those spherical structure moves away from the strand. The same thing happen here. The mechanism is known as splicing. From the splicing, all the non-functional parts or non-coding parts or intriguing part, it is known as introns, will be taken out, or it will be come out from the strand. What strand? hnRNA strand. Now what will happen? At the 3' end, addition of, so here this is the MGPPP, methyl guanosine triphosphate, nearer to the 5', and at the 3', the residues of adenyl, 200 to 300 residues of adenyl compounds, they get added to the or nearer to the 3' end of hnRNA. This mechanism is known as tailing. So here number of adenyl residues get added nearer to the 3'. That's why it is known as polyadenylation. Addition of number of adenyl compound near to the or at the 3' end of hnRNA. Now we can't call this as hnRNA because the introns get removed from the hnRNA. Now we can call it as mRNA, though why it is known as mRNA? The non-functional part taken away from the hnRNA, it got the coding part, that is exons it has, only a defined codons it has. That's why we can call it as mRNA. Now we have all the three steps. Capping means addition of methyl guanosine triphosphate, splicing means removal of all the non-functional part, that is introns, and tailing in sense addition of number of means 300 to 200 to 300 adenyl compound to the 3' end of RNA. So at last with this we got a mature RNA, a mature mRNA, which is ready to synthesize the protein, and that process is known as translation. Okay, so that's all about the structure of transcription in eukaryotes. So based on this, if they ask the questions of 5 mark or 3 mark, don't miss the concept, don't miss the question, just write it. If you have any doubts, just call me or message me. And one more thing to tell, after this we have the genetic code. The genetic code is very much important. Every time they used to ask the question on genetic code, features of genetic code, and that table they used to ask. So we'll see that genetic code in the next session. Thank you.